The years 1933 to 1945 marked one of the darkest periods in world history, the reign of the Nazi regime in Germany. An era of intense upheaval, it began with the rise of a man named Adolf Hitler and his National Socialist German Workers' Party, more commonly known as the Nazi Party. In the early 1930s, Germany was in the throes of the Great Depression. The economy was in shambles, and the Treaty of Versailles, signed after World War I, had left the German people feeling humiliated and wronged. The nation was ripe for change, and it was in this atmosphere of discontent that Hitler and his party began to gain traction. Hitler, a charismatic speaker, played on the fears and frustrations of the German people. He promised to restore Germany's lost glory and to create a society free of the perceived threats of communism and Judaism. The appeal was strong, and the Nazi Party began to grow in strength and influence. But Hitler's rise to power was not just about fiery speeches and promises of a better future. It was also about manipulation of information and control of the narrative. The Nazi Party developed a potent propaganda machine, using every tool at their disposal: newspapers, films, radio broadcasts, and even children's books, to spread their ideology and solidify their power. In 1933, the political landscape of Germany shifted drastically. The then aging President Paul von Hindenburg, under immense political pressure, appointed Hitler as Chancellor. This was a calculated move, designed to control and contain the growing Nazi influence. But it backfired spectacularly. Hitler seized this opportunity, gradually dismantling the structures of the Weimar Republic and replacing them with his totalitarian regime. By 1933, Hitler was Chancellor, paving the way for the totalitarian Nazi regime. This marked the beginning of a dark chapter in human history, a time of unimaginable horror and devastation that would leave a lasting scar on the world. With the Nazi regime in full control, every aspect of German life was under the swastika's shadow. The Nazis were meticulous in their control, leaving no stone unturned. They infiltrated every institution, from schools to churches and businesses. The objective was clear: to create a society that lived, breathed, and thought according to their ideology. Schools became a breeding ground for indoctrination. The curriculum was tailored to glorify the Aryan race and to instill a deep sense of national pride. The textbooks were rewritten, history was distorted, and science was twisted to fit the Nazi worldview. All this was done to shape the minds of the young, to make them ardent followers of the Nazi Party. Parallel to this, the Hitler Youth was born, a seemingly innocent organization that aimed to build character and instill discipline, but in reality, it was another tool for indoctrination. Boys were trained to be soldiers, to be ruthless and obedient. Girls were taught to be homemakers, to bear and raise pure Aryan children. Churches, too, were not spared. The Nazis sought to replace Christianity with their ideology. They manipulated religious teachings, shunned clergy who resisted, and even tried to create a new Reich church that worshipped Hitler. Businesses were also under strict control. The Nazis implemented autarky, a policy of economic self-sufficiency. They strove to make Germany independent of foreign imports, which led to a significant shift in the economy. This was accompanied by a massive rearmament program, creating jobs but also preparing Germany for war. Society, as a whole, underwent a drastic transformation. The Nazis propagated a culture of conformity and fear. They demanded loyalty and obedience, and those who dared to defy were met with brutal consequences. Everyday life had become a testament to Nazi ideology, a constant reminder of who held the power. The swastika, once a symbol of good fortune, had become a symbol of oppression, and under its shadow, the German people lived and breathed. The Nazi regime's reign was marked by systematic persecution, starting with the undesirables. The Nuremberg laws of 1935 were a cornerstone of this persecution. These laws, passed by the Reichstag at a special meeting at the annual Nuremberg rally of the Nazi Party, singled out Jews. They were stripped of their rights, their citizenship, and their dignity. The laws laid the groundwork for the systematic state-sponsored genocide that was to follow. These laws weren't just pieces of paper. They were a statement of intent. They were the first step on a path that would lead to the darkest chapter in human history. The Nazis didn't just want to control the Jews, they wanted to erase their existence entirely. And the horrors of the Nuremberg laws were only the beginning. The violence against Jews escalated rapidly, culminating in the infamous Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, in 1938. This was a pogrom against Jews throughout Nazi Germany, carried out by paramilitary forces and German civilians. Synagogues were burned, homes and businesses were destroyed, and tens of thousands of Jews were sent to concentration camps. But the Jews weren't the only victims of the Nazis' insatiable thirst for power and control. Other minorities and undesirables were targeted as well. Gypsies, Jehovah's Witnesses, homosexuals, the disabled, all were persecuted. All suffered under the boot of the Nazi regime. As the violence escalated, the world watched in horror. But the worst was yet to come. The full extent of the Nazis' plans for the final solution was still hidden, yet to be revealed. The systematic extermination of 6 million Jews, the Holocaust, was yet to unfold in all its horror. The world was on the brink of witnessing a genocide on a scale never before seen in human history. The final solution, the Holocaust, was yet to unfold in all its horror. The Nazi regime, however powerful, could not last forever. As the tide of the Second World War began to turn, the seemingly invincible Nazi machine started to falter. The Allied forces, united in their determination to end the tyranny of the Third Reich, began to push back, winning decisive victories on multiple fronts. On the Western Front, the Allies successfully executed Operation Overlord, a massive amphibious assault better known as D-Day, which marked the beginning of the end for the Nazi regime. Meanwhile, on the Eastern Front, the Red Army was steadily regaining ground, pushing the German forces back towards their homeland. The final nail in the coffin for the Nazi regime came with the Battle of Berlin. The city was surrounded and relentlessly bombarded, the once mighty German capital reduced to rubble. The end was near, and everyone knew it. In a bunker beneath the besieged city, Adolf Hitler, the man who had led Germany and the world into this chaos, met his end. On April 30th, 1945, Hitler committed suicide, effectively ending his reign of terror. With Hitler's death, the Nazi regime fell, ending a dark chapter in human history. A period of devastation and cruelty had come to an end, but the world would long remember the horrors of the Nazi regime and the cost of freedom. The Nazi regime, its horrors and its lessons, remain a crucial part of our understanding of history. From its rise to the fall, life under the swastika was marked by fear, persecution, and a chilling disregard for human rights. A reflection on this era serves as a stark reminder, a testament to the resilience of those who survived, and a warning against the dangers of unchecked power and hate. Remember to like and subscribe for more historical analyses and discussions. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,